afternoon. I'd like to call to order the April meeting of the Knox County Employees Merit System Board of Directors. I'd like to make a statement that the entire Board of Directors is present, all 7 members. So the first order of business is setting the meeting agenda. Are there any issues with the agenda as posted? I'm directing my question to any of the members of the board. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and set the agenda. There's 4 items on the agenda. First item is the approval of the March 1st minutes of the March 1st meeting. Need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to accept.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Marshall and a second by Mr. Vaughn. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Thank you. The next item, restructuring of the Merit System Office. Just as a little background, then I'll turn it over to our Executive Director. We had an employee that obtained employment closer to a residence, so she resigned from the position, and it was the officer manager position within the office. And the Executive Director made a prudent decision to look at the duties and functions of the office and made a decision to, with my concurrence, to reconstitute the office and remove the officer manager position and create an entry-level position. There's a certain amount of savings, but a portion of the difference in the salary will be reallocated within the department. So, Ms. Taylor, if I could go ahead and turn it over to you and you can flesh it out for them, please.
Stephanie is here, Knox County HR Director, and I know she's worked on some things, an assessment of the office for the board, if you wouldn't mind letting her
Certainly.
take care of that.
Hi there. I didn't see her come in. Thank you. These $1.25 glasses won't let me see over there, so
That's okay.
I apologize.
Thank you. Stephanie Candler, Knox County Senior Director, HR and Benefits. So we just wanted to inform the board, these changes are typically done in-house, but because you all are invested in this group and what they do for the merit system, we wanted to include you all so that you're aware of the proposed restructuring that the board chair has so kindly supported. My role has been new. I haven't typically worked with Ms. Taylor's office or the board. So with the ordinance changes that were recently passed, my position was included to provide support to Ms. Taylor and then also to the board chair to help as somebody who is internal and has access to resources and support, since she falls under not the merit system, but more of the at-will employer side of our office. So she reached out and said this office didn't really need an office manager. Nina filled an important role with responsibilities that still needed to be conducted, and in an effort to retain the current staff and promote them, we would like to restructure those and redistribute that responsibility to the 2 that are already there, and then hire entry-level admin assistant to perform the clerical functions of the office. So I've spent probably the last few weeks, couple hour chunks at a time with Ms. Taylor in their office, just going over job responsibilities, listening to the phone ring, also updating on the new sheriff's recruiting initiatives, and just getting up to speed because I haven't been involved with the office. We also compared this office and the number of employees within it to the city's civil service office, which serves in a similar capacity. And they really compare. City has about 1,490 positions, about 1,300 of which are full-time, and they have 6 civil servant office staff. And so we have 4 for roughly about 1,000 under the sheriff's office. So it matches from an HR to employee ratio almost exactly. So we feel like with the increase in recruitment and the expected increase in volume for their office, it wouldn't be advisable. There would be no savings to skinny the office down at this point. So they definitely need the entry-level clerical support, and then the others can handle the rest of the workload. So, and then they've also apparently changed a few processes and functions, so we've worked on some of that together as well. But
Thank you. Are there any questions for the HR director? Mr. Marshall?
The new clerical position, will that be hired through your office in Knox County, or will the merit board do the hiring?
so they fall under our typical procedures, which would be to post on our website and hire through Knox County HR. I actually had offered my assistance to Ms. Taylor in those interviews to make sure that she has some support in terms of an interview panel. And so I'm happy to help her with that. But typically, because it doesn't fall under the merit system, those employees aren't merit protected. They would just go through the regular system.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any further questions? Mr. Wright?
That'll be all for Stephanie, but I see Captain Yarnell's here. If I could ask him, he had sent out an email a few weeks ago about how the cooperative was working on recruiting. Could we ask him
Captain,
about that?
could you come forward, please, sir?
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, Captain. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you so much.
Mr. Wright had a question.
You had sent out an email a few weeks ago about how things were working together, seemed to be flowing a little bit better. Just curious if you had any update on that.
Oh, absolutely. We changed the process of our mentorship and recruiting programs, utilizing officers, detectives, civilians with the sheriff's office to assist with our human resources and our merit board, and kind of building some bridges, helping communication between both units, helping communication with our officers, with our entry-level positions, with people that's actually out there doing the job. So it has come with increase, and saw some numbers today that I think you have some numbers of the number of applicants that we've had since we've started this based off of the entire year last year. So it seems to be doing well, and we're excited about it, and we're continuing to grow it and train and see if we can get better with it. But I'm happily answer any questions you guys have about it.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate your service.
Thank you.
So the HR director was basically, informing the board, we're going to go ahead and have Ms. Taylor go ahead and move forward on that and do the posting so we can get up to full strength in the office and assist the sheriff's office with the important business of getting those people that go out and protect lives and property every day. So thank you. Thank you, Ms. Taylor, for that work. Okay, at this time, it's kind of bittersweet. We're actually recognizing one of our outgoing members of the board. Jim Wright has served on the board since, what, 1837? Was that when it was? I'm sorry. That was an exaggeration. August of 2016, quite a while ago. As you know, service on this board is you can serve a maximum of 2 consecutive 3-year terms, and Mr. Jim Wright has done that admirably. His term actually expires the end of April, but I didn't want to expect you to come back because we haven't scheduled our next meeting. So I didn't know if it was going to be May, and I'm sure you're going to be on to bigger and better things. So at this time, we'd like the Mayor Council members to form for a photo op in front of the dais here, and we'll present Mr. Wright with a plaque, if that's agreeable with everybody. Thank you. Ready?
I have several. let me get another one. Would you please? Sorry. Hold it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I would like to say a few words.
Oh, certainly.
I just wanted to thank you all for working with you. It's been a pleasure in the previous council. And to be here for the employees, that's what it's about for me. They put that badge on their chest every day and that target on their back. For me and my family, this is the least I can do for them. 7 years has flown. But working with Paula and Alicia and Tori, they're the best. And they're here for the right reason.
Yes.
And I hope everybody else is.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. On a lighter note, we're going to have a tour opportunity next month to go over to his house and make sure that plaque's on the wall somewhere. Just so you know. But thank you for those kind words, Jim. You'll be missed. The next order of business is a grievance hearing for Lisa Gerald. So I noticed that, Ms. Gerald, you're here and counsel for the county. This is kind of an unusual circumstance where, because of your personal situation, we have to get an affirmative waiver from you to discuss anything based on an ADA restriction and the health situation. So we would have to obtain that from you before we could discuss any of the particulars regarding this. So are you willing to give us an affirmative waiver that we will be able to discuss this in public forum?
I've already replied to the email and told him that I'm okay with us discussing the ADA accommodation and any information that I gave to you all. But I'm not comfortable signing the HIPAA release that he sent me that was for every medical record that I have ever had. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
That's not necessary to discuss the matter at hand. The matter at hand is whether or not they followed the procedures under ADA.
I'd have to defer to our legal counsel. Mr. Morton, do you have any direction on that, sir?
Without a waiver of and consent to publicly discuss her medical situation, her medical records, those sort of items, we could be in jeopardy of putting it out in public without her consent. And I understand the sheriff has their own difficulties as a result as well.
So what would be your recommendation as to how we move forward, if we move forward?
The sheriff, the counsel for sheriff has filed a motion that to dismiss the grievance on the basis of the failure to consent to release of the information. And that the board may consider hearing that motion and discussing it and ruling on that motion.
Thank you. So is there, I would entertain a motion of that from any of the members of the board. Would be a motion to dismiss based on the lack of a waiver to discuss the HIPAA or health-related issues involving this grievance. Do I have a motion regarding that?
I would make a motion to proceed in that direction.
Do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second that.
Yeah, I have a motion and a second. I'll call for discussion by the board. Any discussion of the motion? Yeah, hearing none. The only concern I have is we're kind of hamstrung by the law regarding this. And dismissing the grievance doesn't eliminate any type of legal redress by the employee. It just, we are pretty much taken out of the mix based on the lack of a waiver. Is that correct, Mr. Morton?
That's correct. Could put, make the board liable for disclosing information that we're not allowed to.
So just so we're clear, our actions are not restricting our movement. It's the lack of a waiver that would restrict our ability to discuss. So, yes, Mr. Wright.
Could I ask what rule is that under?
HIPAA, it's a federal law that requires that all a person's medical information, health information remain completely silent, and it can't be shared. It cannot be talked about. It can't be publicly broadcast without the patient consenting to that information to be put out there publicly. And Ms. Gerald was offered an opportunity to sign such a release, and she, for her reasons, said she did not want to, and she wouldn't. And I'm just advising this board, without a proper release, we could be liable for broadcast, even though she's here and she may be, putting the things forward, but I don't know if the sheriff would have an opportunity to properly respond to it. But as far as this board's concerned, we asked Ms. Gerald to sign a formal HIPAA release, and she would not do so for her reasons.
Any further questions or inquiry by any of the members of the board? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye, or no, excuse me, let me poll the members. Mr. Vaughn?
Vote in favor of the motion's approval.
Ms. Willis?
I vote in favor of the motion.
Mr. Wright?
I'll pass.
Mr. Valiant?
I'll vote against the motion.
Mr. Marshall?
I vote for it.
Mr. Boatman?
I'll vote for it.
And Mr. Manning votes in favor of the motion. So the vote is 5-1-1. So the motion passes. So is there any further business for the board?
I did notice our new representative for law
Oh.
enforcement has come in. Mr. Chief Gibson is here.
Would you like to approach, please, sir? So we can appropriately welcome you. Thank you.
Pardon me.
Good afternoon, Chief.
How you doing?
Thank you for your service. Doing great.
Appreciate it.
I'm retired. I'm doing
I
great.
ain't got long.
So thank you for willing to step up and take the position for us. We look forward to working with you. And
Honored to do it.
again, you have the support of all the board members. So is there anything you'd like to say, please feel free.
No, it's an honor and privilege to work with. Sorry that Mr. Wright's leaving, but we're real close, and Paul and I have a good relationship.
Good.
So looking forward to working closely with you guys. I
Great.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
That concludes our agenda. Is there any other business for the board? Hearing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you.